You dog! Damn it!
Welcome to the motherfucking We're covering today's top boxing news.
I don't know why she always targets me.
I mean, I know you're not the first because a couple of years back, I know her and Keith Thurman had words flying back and forth.
Yeah, I never understood that one either. But it's still, at the end of it, I don't care. Me and her will never be in the ring. I do not hit women. She's great, but there's male and females. And it's divided for a reason.
Well, she knows that, but along with knowing that, she also knows who to go after. There are three reasons, primarily, that Clarissa regularly goes at Rolly Romero and Keith Thurman.
Rolly said he doesn't know why she keeps coming after him.
Well, the first reason would be that she's not actually expecting Rolly to really respond aggressively, take her up on her challenge. She's not expecting Rolly to do that. She's not expecting Keith Thurman or Jake Paul to do that. So that would be the first reason. The second reason, she likes to target guys that aren't that good, or at least guys that she thinks aren't that good. A novice in Jake Paul, a quasi-retired fighter in Keith Thurman, or in Rolly's case,
a retard.
Low-hanging fruit. She likes to go after low-hanging fruit. That's the second reason. And the third reason, more specific to Rolly, is his connection to Artur Amatovs. The guy who dropped her on her ass in sparring is the same guy that Rolly knocked out in 2 rounds. She'd have a go at him to try to redeem herself for what happened in the sparring session with Artur Amatovs by suggesting that if she can beat Rolly, she can beat the guy that Rolly beat.
What?
Rolly beat Artur Amatovs, and she's saying that she could beat Rolly, making her better than Artur Amatovs by proxy. That's what that's all about, though. Rolly Romero is showing more maturity and situational awareness than Clarissa Shields, not playing her game.
He doesn't hit women, so it doesn't matter what she says.
What challenges she issues out or what she believes she can do, because it's going to stay a belief since he's not entertaining her. He's been questioned about this a great deal in the last week or so by Shannon Sharp on the Nightcap, by Rick Reno on the Ring Magazine podcast.
His answer hasn't changed, nor should it.
He's garnering even more support by taking the high road, something that Clarissa Shields doesn't know anything about. Because what does it really say about her? That Rolly Romero has to be the adult in the room. He's got to be the mature one, because she doesn't know how to be. This latest situation is getting a lot more attention than previous instances where Clarissa Shields suggested that she could beat her male contemporaries, that she could beat a male boxer, as it is becoming more apparent that these attacks are largely unprovoked. When she was having a go at Jake Paul, people just sort of let it ride because they didn't really like Jake Paul.
It was the same with Keith Thurman because a lot of people don't really like him, but Rolly
to a lot of people is just a fun-loving guy who's good for a funny soundbite. So for her to have a go at him when he hasn't said anything disparaging about her the entire time only accents her lack of character, and that underneath it all, she is a bully, or she's trying to be, attacking men that really can't defend themselves.
You can win 2 gold medals in the Olympics and go undisputed in barren, empty weight classes as many times as you like, but it won't teach you class.
I saw Amanda Serrano say, "Beautiful time with my bro Fat Joe and his podcast, Joe and Jada. When I decide to do a show, I do it super classy. I never do it talking down on anyone or nonsense for that matter. I talk what's important and relevant to me, like my career and my company, MVP. To me, family is sacred, and Joe has been that since day one. I'm not a fan of just doing anyone's shows, but this is not a normal one. This is Joe and Jada."
Clarissa's appearance on Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco's podcast is the polar opposite of Amanda's appearance on Joe and Jada's podcast. And you will notice that Amanda Serrano, just being the way that she is, has made substantially more money throughout her career than Clarissa Shields. without the 2 gold medals,
without having gone undisputed 1 trillion times.
in 1 trillion empty weight classes.
The old saying goes that you draw more flies with honey. You really don't see Amanda Serrano taking shots at anybody, but she's all business once the opening bell sounds. I think that's important. I think that's why she's made substantially more money than Clarissa Shields throughout her career. Maybe it is important to be who you are and stay true to yourself.
Is that what Clarissa's doing?
Maybe it is, and maybe she's just being who she is. But what if who you are is a jackass?
Then what?
Then don't be surprised when you're not a brand ambassador, like an Amanda Serrano, when you don't have corporate sponsorships and endorsements like an Anthony Joshua.
Never mind all that, because you can beat men.
You can beat Rowley. You can beat Keith Thurman. And it's more important to let the world know that, even if it makes you a social pariah, delusional, greatly lacking any situational awareness.
Whatever.
Now it's time for another installment of what has fast become the most popular segment here on the channel, Ring IQ Hate Mail!
Jerry's back.
Glutton for punishment, Jerry Soriano is back to defend his favorite fighter, David Benavidez, saying, "The only Latino that won't let you down." David Benavidez.
Oh, is that why you're so enamored with him? Because he's Latino?
So Turkey steps in to make up for your Ray Canelo ducking and makes Benavidez versus Opetaia on a ring card, not Zuffa, after they both win their next fights, and now it's for undisputed.
I'm sorry, are you fantasizing? Because both David Benavidez and his father's recent comments suggest they're not gonna fight Jai Opetaia next. That's what they said. You saw the video.
I like it. The question still remains, why keep lathering up your audience with all this haterade only to pick Benavidez to win come fight night? When will your audience understand that you don't mean what you say? You just say shit to be mean. You're such a meanie. Where are you, Canelito? We miss you, Pepito. Come back.
I'll bet you miss him because you don't like that the focus has shifted from Canelo Alvarez to Jai Opetaia. And you still didn't answer my question, Jerry Soriano. How can David Benavidez use either Dimitri Bivol or Artur Beterbiev as an excuse not to fight Jai Opetaia straight away when Dimitri's fighting Michael Eifert and then after that, he's fighting Artur? Those two fighters can't be the reason to put Jai Opetaia on the back burner.
Because those two fighters are not available.
And they're not about to be. So there's no real reason for David Benavidez to not fight Jai Opetaia after the Ramirez fight. He asked me, why do I keep lathering up my audience with all this haterade only to pick Benavidez to win?
Who did he fight that was supposed to beat him? Caleb Plant? Demetrius Andrade? Yeah, I picked David Benavidez to beat those guys.
Because who does he actually fight that's supposed to be able to beat him? David Morrell?
Anthony Yard? You're damn right I picked David Benavidez to beat those guys because I know what David Benavidez is doing. That's why I called this move to cruiserweight close to 2 years in advance, while you're still trying to explain it away.
I don't want to acknowledge that.
Because I know what he's doing, so when I say that, you can't use the guys at light heavyweight as a reason to not unify at cruiser. I know why you don't want to acknowledge that. I know why you don't wish to answer.
It's because you can.
You got Jose Benavidez doing the Johnny Foreigner thing where he says that, well, nobody really knows Jai Opetaia.
Turkey LL Sheik knows him.
As if to suggest that Jai Opetaia doesn't have any marquee value, but Demetrius Andrade never had any marquee value. David Morrell didn't have any marquee value, and David was less experienced when you fought him than Jai Opetaia is now. So that can't be the reason you're putting Jai Opetaia on the back burner.
Jai Opetaia is a reigning champion. He has been for some years now, where David Morrell wasn't a reigning anything.
Demetrius Andrade wasn't a reigning anything. Caleb Plant.
These were not champions at the time that David Benavidez fought them, so why is it that you want me to be so fucking impressed with this guy?
Why?
Who did he fight? Who did he beat that I should be falling out of my seat over it?
What has he done?
You've set the bar very low for what impresses you. And that's good. That's good for you. But why is that supposed to apply to me? Why do you come here on a regular basis expecting to hear something different? You lost your mind?
You know, that's actually how Albert Einstein defined insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result.
Don't let my annotations about David Benavidez drive you crazy.
Because it looks like they are. From the time you went on hiatus and came back to this channel, what has David Benavidez done that I should be impressed?
He only did what I expected him to do, what I said he would do. I said he would beat Anthony Yard, and
He wouldn't be at light heavyweight very long because he doesn't really want the Bivol fight, or the better beef fight for that matter. He'll move up to cruiser and fight his old sparring partner, Zurdo Ramirez, because that's a lot safer. Except I said that close to 2 years ago, and when I did, you got mad at me for it.
the part about Zurdo.
And now you want to defend it. I'm pretty consistent across the board, and you'll know that by now because you've been following this channel long enough that I don't know why you'd keep coming here of all places expecting my stance to change. Until David Benavidez actually fights someone noteworthy, someone that I should be impressed,
That's gonna be the story.
so get over it. Now as it pertains to the potentiality of that fight, and why exactly it is I think that David Benavidez is avoiding that fighter. Twitter user who goes by the name Vinny's Corner asked, let's just say that David Benavidez beat Zurdo in May. How does a cruiserweight unification fight against Jai Opetaia go? Does Benavidez become undisputed?
Not if he fought him right after that. If you want my opinion and you're here, so I'll assume that you do. Jai Opetaia doesn't tick off on any of the boxes that would make him a safe choice for David Benavidez at this time. He's not undersized like Demetrius Andrade, for example, to where David has a size advantage over him. He doesn't have a size advantage over Jai.
Like he had over Demetrius Andrade and Caleb Plant, he doesn't have an experience advantage over him like he had over David Morrell, who had little more than, 11 fights?
He had a lot of experience over David Morrell, a lot of rounds in the bank that he doesn't have over Jai Opetaia, and he's not over the hill. He's not a quasi-retired fighter in his late 30s like Alexander Vozdik was when David fought him. He hasn't been knocked out a bunch of times like Anthony Yard.
Knocked out by Sergey Kovalev, knocked out by Artur Beterbiev, outpointed at least once by Lyndon Arthur, to where by the time David fights him, it's hardly impressive that he wins. In the spirit of fairness, I think that David Benavidez's win over Anthony is a solid win at light heavyweight. It's solid, but I'm not going to fall out of my chair over it.
It's okay, but is that the crowning achievement of David Benavidez's light heavyweight campaign? That he beat Anthony Yard?
I'm just saying that Jai Opetaia doesn't tick off on any of the boxes that would make him a safe choice like those guys were safe choices, because that's what they were. There was a lot of angling that went into those fights.
How does it go?
David Benavidez is a pressure-style fighter. He likes to barrel forward, throw punches and bunches, and overwhelm his opponents with volume, with activity. Which works really well when you have a size advantage over your opponents and a weight advantage over your opponents, but he'd have neither against Jai Opetaia, who likes to box on his toes, move around, use the jab, fighting out of the southpaw stance.
Navigating the ring.
Creating space while he does it to get a clear shot at the target should they try to bust through the front door. And that's what David Benavidez likes to do. He likes to bust through the front door. Seen David Benavidez get clipped at least 2 or 3 times doing that. Many years ago against Ronald Gavril, walking straight into a left hook.
Many years later, close to the same thing happened in the David Morrell fight. I remember he walked right into a shot from David that buckled him. He also got knocked down in that fight. Can't say that David Benavidez's defensive prowess has improved all that much over time. I don't think it has. To where I think a fight with Jai Opetaia,
I think it would look something like the Caleb Plant fight in the first half of the fight when Caleb was actually winning rounds, moving around, and outboxing David. I think it would look something like that fight if Caleb Plant actually had power, if he actually had pop and size.
None of which Caleb had over David.
But in the first half of that fight, before he got tired, he was actually doing all right, and he was winning rounds. I figure that the Jai Opetaia fight might look something like that, except Jai has size. He has power, and he's gonna move around like Caleb was moving around.
But he has more in his arsenal than Caleb.
He's also more durable. This is a guy who fought with a broken jaw and still won the fight. I could see David Benavidez getting clipped. I could see David being overzealous with his aggression and his volume, barreling forward and walking into a hard shot. A harder shot than anything he's had to absorb from anyone, because usually David is the bigger puncher in the room. Usually.
He's not a bigger puncher than Jai.
Jai, who was just in there with a pressure-style fighter, and Brandon Glanton. And I saw people's comments after the fight. I don't know what they think they saw, but I saw Jai Opetaia handle a durable customer who could take a hard shot for all 12 rounds, never really losing control of the fight.
It's a good rehearsal for a guy like David.
While the casuals and the vulgars are poo-pooing on the performance, saying that Brandon Glanton wasn't world-class, he was an unheralded guy, and maybe he was.
You know what else he was? He was a bona fide cruiserweight. Not a fat kid moving up. Bona fide cruiserweight. Solid. Not a guy who's moving up because he doesn't want to have to make light heavy, like David.
It's a cruiserweight, that's what he was. And Jai Opetaia handled the pressure from a bona fide cruiserweight, didn't lose a step, dominated almost every round, and what was a good rehearsal for a pressure-style fighter like a David Benavidez. I don't actually think they landed on Brandon by accident. I think it was their intention to ready Jai Opetaia for a pressure guy in a David Benavidez, because that's the end game for Jai.
How many times have you heard him say that he wants all the belts? He wants undisputed. Maybe what they figure is that David Benavidez is going to beat Zurdo Ramirez, and when he does, they're going to go after him. So they've got to get Jai ready. They got Jai. Brandon Glanton.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens after May, because David can't actually lean on either Dimitri Bivol or Artur Beterbiev as a crutch to not fight Jai Opetaia when those fighters are otherwise preoccupied. People keep making a stink about Jai Opetaia being with Zuffa.
Zuffa's backed by Turkey El Sheikh, the same guy who just paid for David's last fight.
Guy with all the money. Who says that he don't offer David Benavidez that fight if he beats Zurdo?
We'll see.
Been saying that the walls are closing in on David Benavidez, who's largely benefited from a noticeable size advantage as a super middleweight, not so much at light heavy and even less at cruiser, to where at some point you're going to be fighting guys that are eye level or bigger to you, and we'll see if you can stay a monster then. Should he beat Zurdo Ramirez in May, that'll be the biggest and best win of his career, and I would give him credit for the win. But after that, what happens after that, that'll determine if he's a monster or not. What if Turkey offers him that fight? That fight with Jai Opetaia. Do you guys out there think that he's going to accept it?
Prove me wrong.
I encourage David Benavidez to prove me wrong and take on the Jai Opetaia fight after Zurdo, so that Jerry Soriano can stop throwing himself around his crummy little apartment, getting mad whenever he sees David in one of my thumbnails.
Prove me wrong.
And take the fight, because the reality of it is, the Canelo fight is dead in the water, Dimitri's not available, neither is Artur, but Jai Opetaia is.
So take the fucking fight.